It looks like everybody has found a spot and are ready to get started. So, as always, I know I'm hiding behind a pillar for everyone on this side. We have a long table up here. We've switched our format just for this morning, but we thought it would be really good for you to be able to connect to the faces of our board members. And going forward, certainly they'll sit amongst you, but this time they're on display. Anyway, as always, thank you to Starboard Communications 95.5, Cool FM, Cool 100, and in Quinte for their continued support of our coffee mingle and making sure you'll stay awake through breakfast. As scintillating as this conversation will be, we know it's early. So I want to thank also the team at the Ramada. We have a couple of new people here. I don't know, Steph, do you want to raise your hand? There we go. Our new general manager, so we're looking forward. I told him that we'll fill this room next Friday night with our president's dinner, and he's looking forward to that, I'm sure. I hope if you haven't registered yet for the president's dinner, please consider doing so. I will be pushing out another email this week, so the link to register will be easy for you. Welcome to all of our chamber members, community members, members of the media. We also have Mayor Mitch Panchuk here in the room, and I saw Garnet Thompson, so thank you very much for joining us today. I'd also like to welcome some new faces to the room. We have Carol Layton. Did she make it? Yes, I saw her coming in from Watershed Magazine, and I don't think I'd seen Kelly Usting. Did she make it? No, okay, so she was with Bank of Montreal. Anyway, also we have some new members that have joined us recently, so we'll mention them as well, but they're also here. So Scotty Dulalan from D2 Technology, Sylvie Reed from the Achievement Center, and Travis Shawcross and Kim Thompson from Pioneer Health Services, right over here, and Elena Ward, all the way from Yellowknife, who joined us actually last summer at an event, and she was on the board there, so we were quite excited that she reached out to the chamber out of the gate. And we also have Dominique and John Bondar with Shannonville Motorsports, so they've also joined us. In addition to those as new members, we have Sam Vitensky, Combined Insurance, Andy Babiak with Barbecue in a Box, and Hampton Inn and Suites have also joined us. So these are made possible through the support of our incredible sponsors. But let's get started, because I will bring Sandy Sidsworth up to talk a little bit on behalf of Bell Let's Talk Day. So if you haven't started that yet, check the swag on your table just to see what you're supposed to do exactly, the hashtag Bell Let's Talk. So as always, if you're smart enough to know, the furthest people away from the food get to start. And so we'll start over there. Gary, you can lead your charge. And then, we'll have this table go first just because they got to talk first. So we'll get up there, and then Gary will give you the heads up, and then we'll move our way. You guys can go next, and then, and we'll work our way back down. And I'm sorry, you guys. Yeah, very well. Okay, yeah. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. There's a number of things on the table with regard to Bell Let's Talk. You will also see our membership guide there. But on behalf of Sandy, we do have Sandy Sidsworth from the Canadian Mental Health Association, who's agreed to come up here and speak on behalf of Bell Let's Talk Day and the importance of understanding mental health. So Sandy, if you're not mid-bite, please come and share.
Good morning. Oh, you can't see me. Hi, Ray. Good morning. Good morning. I am very proud to be up here on behalf of Bell, because 10 years ago, as a new ED, one of the first grants we received was from the newly initiated Bell Let's Talk grant. And that grant enabled us to do mental health first aid throughout Hastings and Prince Edward County for free. And we were able to target over 200 people to receive this 2-day training, and we went with non-conforming individuals who might be those point of contacts for people struggling, people working in Tim Hortons, bus drivers. And it was an amazing initiative, and it started us in a very different path. So I'm really proud to be here today to talk about Bell Let's Talk, because It is an important initiative. It is creating that dialogue. It is creating action, and it's helping communities grow. We have Let's Talk. The next step is Let's Listen. It's the important piece that connects the two together. And I hope the continuation of Bell Let's Talk grows the advocacy work that they're doing and the outreach and creating the ability for us to talk, listen, advocate, action. So it was really nice to be up here on behalf of Bell. I think Matt's here somewhere. I feel kind of guilty being up here, Matt, when you're such an amazing representative, but thank you for letting me have my voice this morning here on this very important day for us in the mental health field. But Jill asked me to do another job. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Still good? Okay. Because it truly is my honor to do this. It is my pleasure to introduce your 2020 President, Greg Sutz. From the time he could walk, Greg was passionate about cars, often visiting the local car dealerships as he walked to and from school, uphill both ways, 20 miles. Today, Greg Sutz is the president and general manager of West City Honda in Belleville. Although Greg's interest in cars started at a young age, he formalized his education at the Canadian Automotive Institute at Georgian College, that's in Barrie, in 1989. Wow, you are a lot younger than I am too. From there, Greg attended Northwood University in West Palm Beach, Florida, where he earned his Bachelor Business Administration degree in the automotive market. Greg's automotive career began in 1990 while working for Toyota Canada in Toronto. That's where he met his wife, Christine, a Belleville native who was determined to settle back here. Good choice. Greg and Christine were married in Belleville in 1993, and by 1994, Greg began to work for her father, who owned and operated West City Honda and Loyalist Mazda. They have 3 children, Kyle, Spencer, and Emily. In 1999, Greg became the general manager, and while working closely with his father-in-law, Afrans Mika, he oversaw the design and construction of a brand new facility at their current location, which opened in 2001. By 2006, Greg became president of West City Honda, and he's currently preparing for the next expansion, effectively doubling the current location beginning in spring 2020. As West City celebrates its 45th year, they continue to support many local initiatives and causes throughout this community. Greg is a past Rotarian with the Rotary Club of Quinte Sunrise and a past president of the Belleville Men's Sales and Advertising Club. Greg also sits on the Automotive Advisory Board for Loyalist College. And in his spare time, Greg enjoys sailing with his family. So it's truly my pleasure to talk about Greg.
Thank you, Sandy. Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning. On behalf of myself and the 2020 Board of Directors, thank you for coming. And before I get started and invite some key members forward, let me introduce to you our full board. First, I'll start with our first Vice President and Chair of Government Affairs Committee, Peter Kempenaar, with Task Force Engineering. If you can please stand, Peter. Next, I would invite Anthony Callahan to stand. He is our second Vice and Chair of the Membership Committee. Anthony is with McDougall Insurance and Financial. Next, we have our third Vice and Chair of the Finance Committee, Jessica Klein, with Canadian Cancer Society. Next, I have Director Helen Wheeler from La Pond Moving. I also have Sean Stickle with Friendly Fires. One of our new directors, Dale Horde with Microage Technology. As well, a new director, Sandra Leslie from Meta Employment Services. From Loyalist College, we have Anne-Marie Vaughn. From the City of Belleville, we have Karen Post. I don't believe he's here today, but representing manufacturing is Kevin McCann from Signa Stretch Film. And of course, our past president, John Tour, Wilkinson and Company. And 2 new appointments this year to our board, Christina Wallace from Wallace Law and Wendy Keller from Freedom 55 Financial. Ladies and gentlemen, how do we welcome our 2020 Board of Directors? Thank you. As 2020 marks the start of the new decade, I'm excited to begin your year as your newly elected Chamber President. As we celebrate the Belleville Chamber in its 156th year, it's important that we recognize why chambers were created in the first place, and that was to be the voice of business. My goal through 2020 is to strengthen the Chamber's role with respect to advocacy for its members. The last several years, our focus on advocacy has centered around election issues at the federal, provincial, and municipal levels. Now that the elections, for now, are behind us, we will continue to speak to our elected officials at all levels of government, advocating on issues important to our membership. We will continue to work in cooperation with city officials so that we may support the needs of local business through constructive dialogue. As your voice, the Chamber can help find solutions impacting business. Continued economic growth of local business is essential to ensuring a healthy and vibrant community for all our citizens, and that is the goal we wish to see continue. Through our various committees, specifically Government Affairs and Economic Development and Destination, we have an opportunity to be impactful. I invite you to contact myself or any board member if you wish to join any of the standing committees such as Membership, Government Affairs, Economic Development and Destination, or Governance. I look forward to serving you and wish each of you much success in the decade to come. A couple other things that I would like to add in terms of importance. The membership role of the Chamber is certainly an important and integral part of the Chamber. We have had some changes in the last year. We've had some staffing changes, and we certainly appreciate the work that staff has done. We are excited to have some new staff members as well join. And one of the opportunities we have this year is to change the membership in terms of the renewal process. And so what that allows us to do is effectively enhance the number of members that we receive, and going forward we can see clearly early in the year how many members we have at any given time. So for that, you will see, I think, changes in terms of invoicing. We were invoicing members staggered throughout the year, and going forward, we will be doing an annual renewal at the beginning of the year. So that, I think, is an improvement and certainly will help us reflect the number of members and accurately help and plan budget as we go forward. So I think on that note, I think that's everything I have. At this point, I would now like to invite Peter Kempenaar. He's our first Vice and Chair of Government Affairs to the podium for his comments. Peter.
Good morning. Uphill both ways. I took a bus to school, so I don't know what that's like. Yeah, I'm Peter Kempenaar. I'm the chair of the Government Affairs Committee, and just to give you a little bit of insight into government affairs. Although the membership committee with our events provides much more public and visible activity, the chamber movement and network was originally designed as an advocacy group to represent the needs of business to municipal, provincial, and federal governments. In other words, the voice of business. On behalf of our members, the Government Affairs Committee, which includes myself, Greg Sudds, Karen Post to the City of Belleville, Kevin McCann, manufacturers in the community, and as well as a number of others, represents the needs of our membership by monitoring policy resolutions from the Ontario and Canadian Chambers of Commerce and local and municipal governments, seeking input from members regarding issues of interest as it pertains to legislation, informing our members and partnering associations of activities relevant to their success in operations. The Chamber, through communication and representation on various other committees, also serves to represent your side of the story to the public and the community that you're a part of. Business is the backbone of our local economy, and you are part of what makes this city great. Sometimes that needs to be shared and celebrated too. During election years, our mandate extends to providing access to the community at large, to the candidates through debates and public meeting opportunities. Without an election this year, presumably we're not going to have an election this year, but without an election year, we are able to focus on a more proactive review of policy and legislative issues. Later today, we have a meeting with the Government Relations Policy Analyst from Peterborough Chamber, who will help guide us through how to access relevant issues for the Ontario and Canadian policy resolution process. Certainly your input at the municipal level is welcome anytime, and just as we plan to actively work to support our city's needs at the provincial and federal level, we're here to support yours to council. The Government Affairs Committee meets monthly. If you're interested in joining us at any meeting, please feel free to reach out to Jill at the Chamber. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. I would now like to invite Anthony Callahan, our second Vice President and Chair of the Membership Committee, to the podium.
Morning, welcome. So the membership committee spent a lot of time last year establishing our terms of reference, developing initiatives to assist with the onboarding of new members, as well as the encouragement of others who are new attendees at events. We understand coming to an event for the first time might seem a little bit overwhelming and uncomfortable, but it can be much easier to meet people when you're together for a particular topic. That being said, you'll see the surveys, the yellow ones there on your table today. We're asking to see if we can get some input on what topics you'd like to have for breakfast or lunch. And we're always interested in your input regarding how you'd like to connect with others, or just helping you to meet a fellow chamber member that you've been wanting to. Now, this goes for all issues. The board wants to hear from our members on any issues facing you as a business, so please keep reaching out to us. Because at the end of the day, we are the voice of business and an open channel to voice your issues with all three levels of government. This year, we've also welcomed our new membership development coordinator, Lisa Grills, with open arms. It's hard to fill Rosie's shoes, but Lisa's an excellent choice and has been doing an outstanding job. Her connections and knowledge with her past career in media are huge, as the membership committee is constantly exploring new and innovative ways to get more media exposure. One of her first projects actually was a new membership booklet, which you'll also see on your tables today. You'll start to see those with your renewals and in your new membership packages. On the renewal side, as Greg touched on, we've also now have uniform renewals January 1st. This is going to make everyone's job a lot easier, especially from an accounting perspective, and let us know how many active members we always currently have. Another big project for 2020 is going to be revamping our member-to-member discounts. For those of you who don't know or don't yet take advantage, we do have some lucrative member-to-member deals. We're making sure businesses are aware of these, taking advantage, and if there are any members who would like to offer a deal to their fellow chamber members, please reach out to us. So events are obviously a large part of what we do at the chamber, and we're going to be looking at what events to continue and when. For example, last year, we moved the golf tournament to September. We had a decent turnout, but I think we could do a lot better. It's obviously hard to compete with a million other tournaments these days, but we're always looking at ways to make it unique. And we're also looking at potentially adding another event that can excite and engage our members. Possibly even before my time, but we had a thing called the Corporate Challenge, some of you might remember. We might look at bringing that back. But yeah, as your membership committee chair, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, or any of the board members for that matter, with any issues you're facing as a business. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you, Anthony. You did a much better job at articulating the membership changes than I alluded to earlier, but thank you. Certainly appreciate that. Our Constitution requests representation from key groups and stakeholders within the community. And these include the city, represented by Karen Post, Loyalist College, represented by Dr. Anne Marie Vaughan, and the manufacturing sector, represented by Kevin McCann from Sigma Stretch Film. I would like to take a moment just to invite Karen and Anne Marie to offer some insights as to their roles. And we'll start with Karen from the City of Belleville.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for having the board here for the breakfast. It's great for all of us to be able to talk about a little bit about what we do in terms of working with the Chamber of Commerce. I want to thank the board for continuing to appoint a city representative to the board. I've been on the board for about 20 years now, and I think it's been one of the most educational and rewarding roles that I've had the pleasure to fill in my role with the city. The board member position for the city is extremely important. It really gives us an inside view. Our government world is very different than the business world, and the connection with the Chamber of Commerce really gives us an inside look at the challenges and the successes that local businesses are facing. The role also allows the city to update the board on initiatives and activities and projects and so on that are happening around the city. These projects and initiatives hopefully are relevant and supportive of local business, and we're able to take the feedback that we get from the board and from the members at events like this back to the senior leadership team and to council, and it helps to influence the way we choose projects and roll those projects out. More than anything, we want to make sure that what we're doing supports and encourages our local business community. If you ever had any doubt, I can tell you that the Chamber really is the voice of business in this community. Your Chamber of Commerce has been effectively and efficiently championing the issues that are important to local business. So I encourage everyone here, if you're just somewhat involved with the Chamber, to get really involved with the Chamber, because they can have a tremendous influence on what happens in and around your community. As a board member, I have the unique opportunity to hear and be heard. And in my experience, it's been mutually beneficial. Hopefully the Chamber values some city perspectives, and I know we certainly value the perspectives that the business community provides to us. I look forward to continuing to work with the board, and I know, and to work with Chamber members as well. And we'll do our best to ensure that the decisions that are being made reflect the values and the desires of our business community. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. I too want to echo the sentiment of the board. We're certainly glad to have you as a city representative, a very important asset on the board, and certainly helps us and keeps us focused as well in terms of being able to communicate with the city and elected officials. So thank you very much. Dr. Anne Marie Vaughan.
I'm president of Loyalist College, and I was delighted to find out as I was starting here that the Chamber actually provided a seat for a representative of Loyalist College. And I know for members of the business community, the provision of skills, having an educated workforce for you to be able to draw on, as well as increasingly more our applied research or technology transfer knowledge that we have at the college that can assist businesses is critically important. Jim Whiteway was previously a member of the board representing Loyalist College, and Jim now does international recruitment. He's currently in Africa doing that work. And so when the seat came open and I was new to the community, I thought it would be good for me to learn about the community needs, to meet more people in the community, and in particular to understand the skills and knowledge gaps that are being identified in the community. That allows me then to be your advocate within Loyalist College to ensure that we have the right programs and the right training and research that we can do for you to be able to succeed. And one of those examples is on Friday we announced a partnership with Seneca College where students in this community now can complete their business degree here in Belleville and not have to move elsewhere to do that. 78% of our students are looking for those pathways, but we also know that as businesses, you're looking for accountants, you're looking for marketing expertise, you're looking for a variety of business skills. And so we will have part-time and full-time options for students that are graduates that always wanted to do a degree and never had that pathway to do so. I'm looking more at the trades and other programs that are required. So I really try to provide a role of being a conduit from the chamber and the things that I hear from the chamber and the board and the business community. And I must say that the board has been very welcoming. I've learned a lot in a short period of time, and I've gotten to meet some wonderful people in the community that are certainly advocates on your behalf. So thank you, and thank you to the chamber. Not all chambers would be so open to have a representative from the educational community to be a part of your board, and I think we're a critical player, and it's really important for me to hear what you have to say to ensure that the college is relevant and reflective of the needs of the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne Marie. Certainly exciting news for this community, the fact that we'll have that degree ability right here in our backyard. That's certainly an accomplishment, and we're certainly proud to have that here. We are getting towards the end of my portion until Jill gets it. I would like to take a minute to extend my thanks to our board of directors. I've had the privilege of working with the board for the last 3 years, and I must admit, I've been a member, or our company's been a member of the chamber for well over 30 years, and never really had an understanding or really an appreciation of what it is the chamber does. And when I was invited to sit on the board 3 years ago, like Anne-Marie had stated, my eyes were open too in terms of all the things that the chamber does and represents, specifically for business in the community. And during that time, I got to know a number of the board members that are here, and I can tell you that we have a dynamic group of individuals who volunteer their time to ensure that the interests of business is represented and administered through their activities on the board. So my hat's off to you. I thank you. I look forward to working with you this year. And a couple other things that I do want to mention about the board. We do have a couple other committees that are represented by board members. One of them is a governance committee, which reflects bylaws and policies. Jill Raycroft and Wendy Keller will be looking after that board and ensuring that we as a chamber are following the rules and ensuring that things that we do are on board with chambers throughout the province. We have a couple ad hoc committees. One of those would be Chamber Events Committee for golf, business, that sort of thing. Anthony Callahan had mentioned he's looking after that. Accreditation, that was something that Suzanne Hunt, our past president, had initiated during her mandate. Quite an extensive process to get through that. And John Tour is assisting with helping us, I think, complete that process. And lastly, awards. Sandra Leslie, our new member, director I should say, is going to be heading up that ad hoc committee as well. So going forward, I want to thank you again, and certainly as I stated earlier, I'd like to mention that I look forward to working with each of you over the coming year. And now, now I'd like to take an opportunity to introduce your past president, John Tour. John has done an outstanding job this past year for for 2019. It was a year of some challenge, but certainly we appreciate all that John has done, and I look forward to continuing with John as his role as past president on our board.
Thank you, Greg, and again, I'd just like to welcome you into the president's role. I believe the board's in good hands, and I know you look forward to taking us over this year. So again, just on behalf of the board, I'd like to thank you, all the members, just for the past year I had. As Greg did mention, we did have some challenges, some change, but I believe we're in a good position going forward in order to have a really successful year. Over this past year, and also my terms being on the board, we've had a lot of chance to connect to government officials, and this past year I think we did take that to another level, just with our Government Affairs Committee reaching out to federal, provincial, as well as our local mayor, Mitch Panchuk here, all levels of government, just to get back to connecting. And since we don't have, unless something unexpected happens, any elections in this year, I think we do have a better chance to really connect even more. Last year with the federal election, Neil was a little bit preoccupied, as you might say, on other plans, but I think this year we do have a real good chance to connect with all levels of government going forward to really push our advocacy. We had a few debates, which is really a good chance for people to see just a little bit the concerns our chamber members have, as well as the concerns of the business community. So again, those are a couple of highlights for my past year. Again, most of you have heard me speak throughout this year, and now that's Greg's, basically. Yeah, so that's Greg's to basically take that role on. So again, as Jill mentioned previously, I hope that he wants to join us at his President's Dinner upcoming. We do still have spots available, and I look forward for him still continuing on this board for the next year and joining the Past Presidents Club. We've got a couple members in the room here. I believe it's called the Has-Beens Club, and I think they need to elect you into that club. So hopefully I did a good enough job, but I look forward to joining that. So thank you.
Very good. So on behalf of the board and you as our members, my name is Jill Raycroft, for anybody who hadn't gotten a chance to meet me or didn't realize that that's who I am. And I usually try to take a back seat because these are the guys who do the work, and we really appreciate their input and their advocacy and their connections to you as our membership. So part of the reason we do this, and this is the first time we've kind of come up with this setup, but we wanted you to start putting faces to the people behind the work that gets done at the chamber on a volunteer basis, and in so doing, recognize them and reach out to them when you see them at an event, when you see them out in the public, when you see them at one of our events, because they are geared to assist you and bring your needs forward to us so that we can make sure that you're connected, you're represented, and your needs are shared. So as John and Greg and Anthony spoke of, we have had significant change in the chamber, not the least of which was a flood in the basement last July. So we have kind of come through a series of different things that silver lining would be that we are, I think, going to be stronger moving forward. We have some activities in place now that hopefully will help us move forward, and least of which the transition to the annual renewal in January. That it did take a year to get us through that as we prorated fees. So if anybody got their invoice in November and wondered why it was only $45, it's not really. But we appreciate all of those who did fill up that last year. And now in January, we have sent out electronically, we've sent out the renewals once already. And now that we have received our membership information guide, that will be going out in the mailed renewals for those who haven't already taken advantage of paying online. And for any of you who are in the room that have already done so, thank you. It certainly, we've come up with a few different ways to save money, but certainly postage is a huge one. And when we can eliminate some of the need of sending things out, that's fantastic. The other thing is, we also have that survey on the table. I would invite you to take advantage of giving us some input on what you'd like to hear at an upcoming breakfast. If you haven't turned the page over yet, please do and see what our breakfast schedule is, and take a picture of it, take it home with you, mark the dates on your calendar. We have some speakers already scheduled. We will be welcoming the MPP Todd Smith here in April. We'll be welcoming Mayor Mitch Panchuk here in May. Excited to have that. Ron Jeanette, Chief of Police Ron Jeanette will be coming in September. We were hoping to get him in June or May, but he apparently is quite busy with moving into the new building, so he suggested that maybe September would be better. But he promises us a series of photos, drone shots of the construction from beginning to end. So it'll give you an opportunity to really get the inside look at the construction of the new facility they're very excited about. So we have, and then in February, we hope to invite some of our Cornerstone Award recipients to the podium to talk a little bit about what their experience has been in business here in Belleville and the recognition that we've given them for their capacity as either a founder, a mentor, with citizenship, or as a visionary. And we have a number of exciting announcements to make next Friday. We try to keep it a little bit of a secret because we want you to come and celebrate whoever it is. It's not really about the person, but because they are all valuable members of our business community, we want you to be a part of that. So I think we have about 35 tickets left, believe it or not. 33. So we're at 33. Okay, 2 more. So we're at 33 tickets left, and we try to pack this room at about 250, 260. So it's going to be a great crowd. There's an opportunity to mingle throughout that event, and we look forward. And you can come as one person. We will find a nice person for you to sit with. In addition to that, I was supposed to, and I failed to, mention that we are recording this session, and we will continue to do that with our breakfast going forward. So it gives our membership who may find 7 o'clock in the morning a little early, or they have other obligations. I know a couple of you mentioned even trying to get kids at the door, or leaving a spouse at home to do that is a challenge. So we will be recording these and posting them for broadcast in the next coming week, I think is what we're hoping. We'll check and see how it goes. It's our first time. So to that end, I will also introduce Miriam Panahi, who's over here. Many of you will remember Matt, but Miriam is our new Matt and Visitor Services and Promotions Coordinator. She's responsible for making sure that all of our events that we run on behalf of the city are promoted effectively through social media and our websites. We also have the visitbelleville.ca website, which we launched last year through our visitor services contract with the city. So we believe that that's an effective way, an active way for us to continue to engage community or people coming into the community. But I'd invite you to go look at it too, because one of the themes I'm finding through my interviews with this year's recipients for the Cornerstone Awards is that many of them have made a choice to come to Belleville and stay here. And they talk about how they were enamored with this space and how they love Belleville. And for those of us who have lived here all our lives or in the area may not recognize what it looks like to come from away. So I really do hope that you'll come and join us and you'll continue to participate in other events. We have a number of new people here. I hope you've all had a chance to meet someone new, that you found a connection here and something that makes you look forward to our next one. I'm hoping I haven't forgotten anything. The surveys are important. And again, thank you to the board. I always appreciate their patience. I'm coming into my 3rd year as well, and it has gone by very quickly. I don't know how to describe that I got that old that fast. But certainly the job has been one I have loved. I have, again, appreciated the patience of the board. I have thoroughly enjoyed getting a chance to meet anybody and everyone in this room. And I look forward to continuing to serve as your CEO, because ultimately, through you, through the board, I am here for you. I do what you ask me to. So as much as I try to guide, that's about as best I can say it. Gray, don't shake your head. Barry doesn't tell me what to do ever. So I think that's probably most of what I needed to say. The upcoming event, again, President's Dinner is the most important one because we need your tickets confirmed before the end of the week. That would be great. We We have mingles coming up in March. Our next breakfast is February, so that's probably, and then we'll start rolling with the year. Anything?
Yeah,
What did I forget?
just a shameless plug about President's Dinner. John had a sellout last year, and I would very much appreciate the remaining 33 tickets to be gobbled up. So I don't want to give John that satisfaction, but all kidding aside, I will work on my speech. I promise that, and I look forward to seeing many of you next week Friday. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much, and thanks to Bell Let's Talk for hosting us today. Have a great day. We get you out of here early, I think, yeah? 8:35, 10 minutes. Now, does anybody have any questions for the board? Oh, and we have a couple of members we're gonna plaque. We have this whole plaquing thing, so we mention this all the time, that if you have a membership plaque, every time you renew, you get a new little sticker. And as we've kind of started this process of plaquing or engaging our members with the plaquing, we have gotten more and more who have said, I get these stickers, I have nothing to put them on. So we have a couple of members that we would like to plaque today, and certainly we'd enjoy if you'd be a part of watching that happen. But while we're getting that ready, does anybody have any questions of the board? I know you came in with burning thoughts. Okay, so who are we inviting up? We're inviting up Maxine Holland. And is it, who's it? Oh, and Elena Woodward? Yeah. Okay, so we do have Elena, who's, is it Woodward, right? Communications, sorry. Ward Communications, sorry. She's come from Yellowknife, and like I mentioned, she was here at an event in the summer, so we're quite excited about that. And we understand she was a board member, so hopefully we'll be able to conscript her to join us here as well. Certainly, I welcome you to join any of the committees. We're always looking for extra help, extra input, and a committee involvement is a great way to start thinking about joining the board as well. So if you must go, please do, but please come on up and we'll plaque you. Greg, do you want to help them?
On behalf of the Belleville Chamber, certainly welcome you, and we're proud to plaque you.
Thank you so much.
Can I just get one with the sign as well? So just pass it? Thank you. Perfect. Thanks so much. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Also, on behalf of the Belleville Chamber, we certainly like to welcome you and thank you for running this fabulous organization.
Thank you. Good night. I'd really
You want a
like it
minute?
if you girls could join me
Yeah.
as well, because
Okay, I'm not offended.
Jill and Lisa have been a big part of my journey, and thank you, Chamber.
So if you feel like taking a membership information guide with you, feel free. We will be mailing those out with the renewal packages, so everybody will get one. But certainly, if you know someone who should be a member of the Chamber and isn't, please feel free to share it with them. And on that note, I think we will say goodbye, good morning, thank you again for coming. Have a great day. Bye-bye.